In the headlines, bandits attack and kill former councillor in Zamfara state. NDLEA intercepts bandits, seizes weapons in Katsina and Benue state. Plateau state records 28 new deaths, 1,415 cases of cholera. And on the foreign scene, 8 people die as Russia tourist helicopter crashes into lake. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thank you for joining. The news in details now. A former councillor of Sabon Gida ward, Honorable Farouq Hassan, has been killed by unidentified gunmen few minutes after he arrived at his home. The incident happened less than 24 hours after gunmen invaded the house of another former councillor, Babangida Damba, who was shot while his nursing wife and 8-month-old baby boy were kidnapped. Daily Trust correspondent Shehu Umar tells us more.
The victim is currently responding to medical treatment in his residence. When the gunmen laid siege, they told him that they were there to assassinate him. When they learned that he was not willing to open the doors for them and was calling the attention of security operatives to his plight, they began to fire shots into the rooms. They shot him at the hand, abducted his wife and her 8-month child. Meanwhile, another former councillor was killed in Sabon Gida, a community located just 5 kilometers from where the first incident took place. Sabon Gida is a community hosting Federal University Gusau, and some of the residents there who spoke to Trust TV correspondent lamented how government failed to beef up security in the area. They said they had been suffering from series of attacks in the first few years.
Meanwhile, the people of Kaduna State express hope over the lingering security challenges in the state due to the ongoing operation in the state by security troops, as 11 people have regained their freedom. Our correspondent Fatima Saleh Laden tells us more.
Reports from security agencies to the state government is saying about 11 people that were kidnapped escaped from captivity, and this is as a result of the security operations going on in the state, while 2 others were rescued from troops. They escaped from bandits operating at the outskirts of Sabon town in Igabi local government area, and Sabon has been a no-go area. There is a road that links the Kaduna International Airport. People now follow other alternative routes to the airport. This is due to the excessive insecurity in the area. In these few days of security operations, there have been improvement in terms of security. There are no records of banditry attacks, mass abduction in some days back compared to some days back, unless for the ones who are still in captivity, just like the Bethel Secondary School students, where today marks exactly 38 days they have been in captivity, where about 121 students were kidnapped from the school. Well, there are a series of release from the bandits. As of now, there are about 80 students who are still in captivity. And the citizens of Kaduna State are expressing hope that due to this operation by the security operatives, the security challenges bedeviling the state will come to an end, or at least for now, that we have seen a lot of improvement in terms of security, that it will be maintained.
Now, operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency have arrested 3 armed bandits, Adamu Shehu, Tukuru Muhammad and Ibrahim Suleiman in Katsina State, with 3 AK-47 rifles among other items recovered. A heavy weapon manufacturer, Celestine Christian, was arrested with a high-caliber G3 rifle along with 78 rounds of live ammunition of 7.62 mm caliber and 5 empty shells in Benue State while trying to move them to Jos Plateau State. Speaking at the NDLEA headquarters in Abuja on Thursday, Chairman of the agency, Brigadier General Muhammad Buba Marwa, retired, noted that the NDLEA will continue to support efforts by other security agencies especially the armed forces, to restore law and order across the country. The NDLEA boss commended the Katsina and Benue state commands for their vigilance and unrelenting commitment to rid the country of illicit substances. Now, the demolitions of shops and houses that started in Pape on Wednesday, 11th August, has continued to rage on as people living in Abuja slum are left to pick up pieces of their lives. Container shops, makeshift stores, and even some houses were not spared from the demolition that took place. Chidreke Okafo tells us more.
Again, the people of this community are woken by the ugly sounds of caterpillars and excavators crushing shops and clearing everything in their paths. It is the second day since demolitions began in Pape, and just like yesterday, people are standing by, watching what they have built for many years destroyed by the Joint Task Force in charge of demolitions.
It's unfair. This is no longer the road they say they want to build. Building road is it contain some people private land that people acquire doing their business. They are demolishing it. Look at people property. In the road does not mean anything.
Emotions are flaring as some shouted, others cried, while many just stood with arms wrapped around their body, a sign of how chilling the situation is to their spine.
I don't hear road at all.
People like Ilyasu Abdullahi, who owns a mechanic workshop here, says that he has been affected by such demolitions in Abuja 3 times in a row. He shares his grievous story.
This place is no road. I was at Utako. They started demolition where I am. Like 4 places, 4 times they burn engine where I buy for people, I have to pay back. You understand? I don't know what this government are doing. The people, they don't even see the criminal at all. They are not looking for the criminal. They are looking for people to invite inside the criminal. Because somebody like myself, I have never laid hand on anything that is not belonging to me. The work I learned is the work I'm doing. And I'm in the workshop, not on the road.
For some of these residents, it seems all hope is lost, and the faith and trust they once had in the government has been razed down together with their properties that were destroyed. And now, all they look forward to is a day when all these troubles will come to an end and they would live without the fear of the FCDA.
I don't get where I don't get anybody for here. Now the food where they cook. Now I go that they spend where they spend the money where they used to. And they don't scatter everything. Now I don't know where I go start to. I don't know what thing I go do now.
This is day 2 of the demolitions that have rocked Pape community here in Abuja. And one cannot take away the sympathetic feeling that comes with some of the stories that these people have to tell. Now, residents of Pape are left with very deep damages that might take years for them to regain back their losses. In situations like this, humanity overshadows professionalism. Chidreke Okafo, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, heavy rainfall destroys 1,567 farmlands in Jama'ari local government area of Bauchi State. The rain, which lasted for over 20 hours, submerged farmlands and destroyed crops in 7 villages in the area. Samaila Jarma, the council's chairman, confirmed the incident to newsmen on Thursday in Jama'ari. He said the flood was caused by the overflow of water from Jos River following rainfall which lasted for several hours on Tuesday. Jarma said the council had also inaugurated a committee to address the level of damage for onward submission to the state government. Plateau State has recorded 28 new deaths and 1,415 cases following the outbreak of the cholera in the state. Chairman, House Committee on Health, Honorable Daniel Nambol Listic, made this known to reporters in Jos on Thursday. Listic said from August 10, 2021, based on the epidemiology data of cholera outbreak in the state, 16 local government areas were affected with 1,415 cases recorded. He added that Jos North has the highest number of cholera cases with 599 cases, while Jos South and Bassa local governments followed with 423 and 151 cases, respectively. The federal government has received 177,600 doses of Johnson & Johnson vaccine on Thursday, stating that the second phase of the national vaccination program is expected to kick off next Monday. The single-shot J&J vaccine was acquired through the African Vaccine Acquisition Trust with support from Afreximbank. According to the Africa Center for Disease Control, the vaccines were partly manufactured in Africa and are expected to be deployed in hard-to-reach areas to eliminate the need for travel for a second dose. The Health Minister, Osagi Ehanire, said on Thursday that Nigeria has procured nearly 40 million doses of the vaccine through AVAT. Meanwhile, as states across the country struggle to curb the spread of COVID-19 Delta variant, the nation records 790 new cases, the highest in 6 months. While government intensified efforts to ramp up inoculation, controversy over COVID-19 vaccine has continued to spread, sabotaging efforts. The report.
The Federal Ministry of Health.
Nigeria has so far approved 6 COVID-19 vaccines, namely Gamaleya, Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson & Johnson, AstraZeneca, and Covishield as it battles the Delta variant of the virus. Of the 6 vaccines, the country has received 4 million doses each of AstraZeneca and Moderna vaccines, all donated. But controversy over the safety of the vaccines has continued to mar the vaccination process. With the research in the number of infections, only 1.4 million people have been fully vaccinated, while 2.5 million await second dose of the vaccine, accounting for less than 1.5% of the country's population. Some Nigerians remain skeptical owing to the conspiracy theories about the safety of the vaccines, especially on social media. Government has continued to assure Nigerians of their safety.
You see, Nigerians are extremely fertile in imagination, and they will make statements that are baseless, that are not proven by science. Those who are saying this, is Nigeria the only country where Moderna vaccine is being administered on people? The answer is no. So they should stop this nonsense.
The recent 4 million doses of Moderna vaccine donated by the United States is to fulfill President Joe Biden's promise to share 80 million doses produced in the United States with other countries. The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration says it is subjecting the Moderna vaccine to test before the beginning of vaccination.
We have been working around the clock in terms of making sure that we do testing on the Moderna vaccines. The health of our people is premium to us in NAFDAC, and right now we are doing the testing. It's not something you go to the lab and in 2 hours you come out. No, it may take 3 days, 4 days, but we are trying to shorten it as much as possible.
The World Health Organization is concerned that nearly 70% of African countries will not reach the 10% vaccination target by the end of September 2021. You're watching Trust TV News Update, and coming up after the break, young people tasked to take charge as world celebrates International Youth Day. Join us again for more.
My name is Samuel Dada. Yakubu Isa. Ana mana tabi da jeji. Aminu Musa. Steven Umaru. A wannan harkar ce muke dan samun abinci. An muke taimaka mu wasu da yawa. Looking for private jobs. Sometimes you get employed and the process of payment, you undergo some kind of stress.
Get latest updates on current topical issues and breaking news by downloading the Trust TV mobile app on your Android devices. Go online, click Google Play Store, search Trust TV, install the app, and get doses of unfiltered information on happenings all over the world in your pocket. Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Thanks for staying with us, and this is Trust TV News Update. Let's take another look at some of our top stories. A former councillor of Sabon Gida ward, Honorable Farouq Hassan, has been killed by unidentified gunmen at his home in Zamfara state. Plus, the federal government has received 177,600 doses of Johnson & Johnson vaccine on Thursday, stating that second phase of the national vaccination program is expected to kick off next Monday. Moving on now, August 12, officially known as International Youth Day, is celebrated annually to give youths a platform and a voice. The day, often accompanied by major event, engages youngsters with drive to take initiatives and actions that will increase opportunities for them and how to manage resources to address global problems. Dashan Hussaina Usman tells us more.
International Youth Day is a day set aside annually to celebrate youths all over the world. The purpose of this day is to create awareness on issues the youths may be facing, as well as celebrate their achievements. United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres, during this year's celebration, says young people are on the front lines of the struggle to build a better future for all.
The UN is strengthening its work for and with young people worldwide. I urge everyone to guarantee young people a seat at the table as we build a world based on inclusive, fair and sustainable development for all.
A virtual webinar organized by Youth Collaboration Summit that had in attendance youths from different walks of life as panelists also had President National Youth Council of Nigeria, Solomon Adodo, who spoke on the ideal Nigerian youth.
To be involved in leadership, we must first be prepared for leadership. We must get the requisite knowledge, we must know the political terrain, and we must also be equipped even on the financial front. Because we tend to say we should not do money politics. But of course, even to convene a meeting, you need resources. So for leadership, Nigerian youth should begin to prepare for leadership. And when you prepare for leadership, when you refine yourself to a certain extent, the world will have no option but to adopt you.
This year's theme is Transforming Food Systems, Youth Innovation for Human and Planetary Health. With the world's population expected to increase by 2 billion in the next 30 years, numerous stakeholders recognize that the accomplishment of a worldwide initiative such as poverty reduction, social inclusion, health care, biodiversity conservation, and climate change mitigation will not be possible without the active engagement of young people. In 1965, United Nations General Assembly began making a concerted effort to impact and empower the youth. In 1999, the UN General Assembly endorsed the recommendation made by the World Conference of Ministers responsible for youth, and International Youth Day was commemorated and has since been celebrated every 12th day in August. Dashan Hussaina Usman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now, the National Human Rights Commission and some civil society organizations have applauded the judgment of a Federal High Court, Abuja, in favor of 6 women for violation of their rights. The groups at a media briefing applauded the judgment of Justice Evelyn Maha on the matter. The report.
On April 26, 2019, over 100 state actors invaded clubs, hotels, supermarkets, and other centers of businesses in Abuja to arrest sex workers. This, according to the Federal High Court, has been termed an arrest without cause. Justice Maha also ruled that the molestation and dehumanizing treatment, detention and barring of the applicants from accessing legal representation were in violation of the applicants' rights. These rights, according to Maha, are guaranteed under the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Executive Secretary of NHRC, Tony Ojuku, represented by Harry Obey, Director Women and Children, said the judgment would encourage all activists fighting human rights violations in Nigeria. According to him, the judgment has vindicated the position of CSOs and the Commission.
For us, it's a day that is really exciting for us and very encouraging to all activists fighting human rights violation in Nigeria, especially violation that borders on sexual and gender-based violence. So it is a story worth telling, and we're calling on all to speak out, because that is the only way we can address the issues of sexual and gender-based violence.
Similarly, Kemi Okenyodo, member of the governing board of NHRC, described the judgment as a victory over a violation of rights.
This judgment, like I said earlier, is significant as it asserts the human rights of every person against gender-based violence, especially by state actors, which is a persistent, well-documented fact. The judgment regarding the discriminatory arrest of people based on their gender, particularly the arrest of women in the streets and other places, becomes a reference point for protecting women's rights.
Rekia Adejo Andrew, Chairperson International Federation of Women Lawyers, Nigeria, Abuja branch, also commended the judgment.
We are glad and we want to say that this is victory for women. This is victory for all civil society organizations that stand for women and children. And we join and we're glad, we're delighted as the National Human Rights Commission. We know that the fight to eliminate all forms of discrimination against women and children is a long walk, but I think we're making progress. And we believe that if we sustain this momentum, we will achieve more.
Let's now turn our focus to some business. The federal government is set to begin the 4th round of the Micro, Small and Medium-Scale Enterprises Survey. The disclosure was made on Thursday in Abuja at a news conference jointly addressed by the Office of the Statistician General of the Federation and the Small and Medium Enterprises Development Agency of Nigeria, SMEDEN. Adeyemi Adeniran, Director, Real Sector and Household Statistics Department at the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics, represented Yemi Kale, Statistician General of the Federation, at the news conference. Adeniran said the survey will begin on Monday with a train-the-trainers workshop, while fieldwork will start on August 21. He said the survey will be carried out in the 36 states and the FCT. On the foreign scene, a helicopter carrying 16 tourists and crew on a sightseeing trip in Russia's Far East crashed into a lake on Thursday, leaving 8 people, including a child, dead and 2 others in serious condition. The Mi-8 helicopter crash landed into the icy waters of Kuril Lake in the mountainous Kamchatka Peninsula. Staff of the reserve dispatched boats to the crash site and saved 8 people. Now, 6 migrants, including 4 children, have died of thirst in Tunisia's part of the Sahara Desert near the border with Algeria, the governor of Tunisia's Tozeur region said on Thursday. The migrants from sub-Saharan Africa died amid the heat wave in the Tunisia and the entire Mediterranean region, Ayman Bajoti told a local radio station. Tunisia's temperature on Wednesday reached a record high of 50 degrees Celsius, according to the National Weather Service. And now in sports news, Kepa Arrizabalaga is the unlikely hero as Chelsea started the new season as they ended the last with a European trophy by beating Villarreal 6-5 on penalties after a 1-1 draw to win the UEFA Super Cup in Belfast. The Spaniard, who lost his place as number 1 since joining the club for a world record fee for a goalkeeper in 2018, was introduced late in extra time as a substitute for the shootout by Thomas Tuchel. Kepa refused to be replaced by former Chelsea boss Maurizio Sarri in a League Cup final defeat to Manchester City 2 years ago. But this time he rewarded his manager's faith with saves from Aissa Mandi and Raul Aiboel. And that wraps it up for Trust TV News Update. For latest news across, follow us on all our social media handles. I am Aiboel. Thank you for watching.